This is Solo in the City with Cheryl Besner on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
This is your guide to dating, mating, and relating. Welcome back to Soul in the City. And I want to take a minute, Eramelinda, to remind people that if they did miss the first segment of tonight's show, they can go on to SoundCloud and YouTube as well, because we do have cameras in the studio now where people can see who exactly it is that I'm talking to. So you can go back and you can listen to the show later tonight, Monday, next week. There's always great shows that you can catch up to, and there's always great information coming from all our guests that come on to Solo in the City. So remember, and also you can follow us on Twitter. And right now I want to remind everybody that we're in studio with Frank Mondeose, who's co-hosting tonight with me, and Eramelinda, and also Marco Robidoux, stylist to the stars. And we're welcoming now to the love table Natacha Noël from the Absolute Bachelor Club. Yeah, she is. She's actually my matchmaker. She introduced me to my beau.
Wow.
And welcome to the show, Natacha.
Hi, Cheryl. Good evening. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So it's all about summer lovin' and how to stay calm, cool, collected, which will give us confidence, which is the most important thing. I think we can all agree the most important thing when we're in our dating mode is to feel confident about ourselves, right?
Yes. But one more thing. You also have not to be desperate. There's nothing worse that turns people off than being desperate.
Even perseverance is not going to help you with that, right?
No. And never mind which that you're going to, you have to think if it works, it does fine. If it doesn't work, it's okay. If you're too desperate, it's a turn off for everyone.
So, Natacha, how do you advise your clients? Like they're getting ready, they're going out for a date, and let's say somebody says to you, you know what, whenever I go out on that first date, I become a nervous wreck and I just start sweating or I start over talking. What do you say to your clients?
Well, they have to visualize the date. And if they have a car, the best time and place to visualize is in the car right before. You get there early and you think about what it is you want to say and don't want to say, and remind yourself not to fall into the traps of talking about past relationships and things like that. There are things that your date might ask you and you should avoid. And sometimes having a little cue card to remind yourself of those things is the best way. To have a plan is your best strategy to have a success. So you don't want to over plan. And you don't want to over-prepare for your date. But if you have some information about the person that you're going to meet, you want to do a little bit of research so you can talk about the topics that they enjoy. So if you've met them online and you have their profile, go through their profile first and remind yourself of their interests and their hobbies and their goals so that you can have an interesting conversation.
So is it a little bit about kind of self-meditating? You're talking about calming yourself down, calming down your blood pressure, and just bringing your heart rate down to a normal level so that you can really stay calm, cool, and collected? What do you think?
Yes. And remind yourself that a great date is a date where people feel that like they were important. So your focus has to be on the other person. And if you take your focus off of yourself and you concentrate, if you listen to the other person, and if you're able to give them amazing rebuttals to what they're going to say and have a conversation that flows, they're going to remember that you made them feel really good, and they're going to want to see you again.
Frank, what do you think? Because you work with a lot of people, and especially in some of your practices, you must have a lot of these issues that you deal with. How do you think people can really refocus themselves to bring down your own body level so that you can, relax into yourself and not sweat it?
Simply, like we like to show people how to get back into your ease as quickly as possible. And the core of that is breath, sound, and movement. So if you're in your car, like Natacha was saying, you could take a moment and just take a real deep breath, fill up your lungs, big belly breath, and let it out with a sound, and just... So, and, we do another thing. It's like, when you're a bit stressed or nervous or you have this anxiety, you could just put your two hands to your mouth, cover your mouth, and just do a scream with a little shake. It's like, something like that. and that helps you just release any tension you have. And so I like what Marco said when he says, like, don't be desperate. And to me, the basis of that is go in to meet another individual. If you're putting so much weight on this that if you don't make this happen, that there's going to be some sort of like life crisis, you're going to be alone again for the next 3 months, like this is like the worst energy to go in with. So I would say, like, just be yourself. For me, when I go on a date, I want to be myself, because I want to know that if the person contacts me, they're contacting me because they liked what they saw, and not because, Of course, I love Natasha's idea. When you are on date with somebody, definitely make it about the other person. You know about yourself. If you're talking about yourself the whole time, you're not really like connected. So learn something about somebody else and figure out if you like them, and maybe that they're not the catch and you're the catch, and just like
Actually, we're supposed to think we always are the catch, right?
Exactly.
I mean, isn't that a little bit about that self-confidence to say, I am the catch, I am the cat's meow, and I think that you're going to be lucky to be with me, right?
But the problem with a lot of people is they focus on what they want to say in order to impress or to make them look good, and they forget about the other person. And Natacha is right, and so is fine. Focus on the other person, on what, and ask them question and make them feel good. And then if the person will return and ask question to you, and then you'll answer. But don't start by talking about yourself right away, because you're monopolizing the whole space, and the person feel left out of it.
Well, it's a little bit about expectations as well. Like if we go in there with expectations that something has to happen from that encounter rather than just going in to enjoy the moment. And that is usually how we're going to have our best interactions, is just going out and enjoying that time with the other person, and to not make them sweat either, right?
Exactly.
You want to allow them that area to be comfortable and confident within their own space by asking those questions.
I think the other, I think we've been around the room, and I think I always think about that movie, Jerry Maguire, where someone says, you complete me. I think that's a big mistake.
Yeah, breaks my heart.
100%. Yet it's such an iconic movie and a statement, but it was...
But
really,
all of our wonderful guests this evening have all said the same thing. You have to, first of all, leave the space for the other person to be able to present themselves. Don't, as you said, don't be desperate. And get all your nerves out of the way in the car, but don't go into the evening expecting them to fix you. I always like to say that I'm sort of like IKEA. I come with all my bits and my own Allen key.
I love it.
Nobody's supposed to fix me. What you're looking for is someone that will entice you, that will lift you up, that will inspire you and bring something new. It's more than just a compliment. It's like a merging. It's fun and it's exciting to be together. So I think that everybody brings an excellent point. And I know you as a dating aggregator, which I think is a great term. That's what it's all about. It's about being able to go in there and feel good about yourself, listening to them, and then see what happens. You don't have to rush it all on the first night. First dates, it's not the make or break, right?
No.
No, 100%. You want to connect with somebody. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. Whether it's a first date, second date, or a lifetime relationship, we want to connect with the other person, right? And you have to find a common way of making it go back and forth. And I think that's what Marco was saying, and Natasha and you, Frank. It's all about having that conversation and letting it flow. We're 5 people sitting here tonight, and we're all talking, and we're listening to each other. And then giving each other space, right, Marco?
Yes. And one thing important to remember, don't be a fraud. I know a couple of my friends who are big time frauds. When they start dating a girl, it's like over the top. Little trips, little dinner, little this, little gifts. And then when they get to the day life, time together, the girl is expecting to get going like that. But then after 2 months, she's like, where's the guy that I met? I call them a fraud. You give so much to try to impress and get the girl to go for you, and after back to your normal life, day life, it's like you're boring. You're not paying attention anymore to the person, you're not taking care of her anymore, and that's awful.
And the same thing with dress codes and the way we take care of ourselves, right? I mean, it's one thing, you go out on a date and you put your best foot forward, which is great, but you also have to be that person, So if you go out and you put on the high heels, or you put on, a guy puts on this great shirt and a pair of dress pants, but he'll never wear a pair of dress pants again. that's not real.
I'm sure that he
Or
borrowed from his friend.
does that happen?
Or it must happen. I mean, if you see someone with a great shirt and then once you're back with him, no more great shirt. Okay, what happened to that shirt? I borrowed it. Same way with girls. I think girls probably do that. Oh, I'll borrow your dress. For
Oh,
the date.
100%. I lend my clothes out like crazy. But it's also keeping fit. Right? Isn't that another part of, during the summer, everybody wants to be in shape because we think of wearing shorter skirts or guys are wearing T-shirts instead of a sweater. So everybody wants the six pack and getting their legs toned and everything. Then what happens when winter hits? Right? It has to become part of who we are. I mean, it should be part of who we are if that's what's important to us. And then the rest of it is natural.
Well, I think as well, like when you're talking about health and fitness and wellness, technically, we're talking about wellness, and wellness for me looks like walking around my neighborhood instead of taking the car, getting on a bike, going for like my meetings by bike. And in the winter, I luckily like to travel. So when I'm traveling, I'm doing a lot of hiking. So that's the way I keep fit. But I don't see myself being able to be in a gym like every day anymore. I used to, not anymore.
Do you find more of your clients, Natacha, kind of because they're coming to you to be matched, that they're really putting an emphasis on being, more fit, dressing a certain way, being a certain way? Or, are they always in that same mode of really who they are at that moment all the time?
Well, they care about it. And I mean, everyone's got just a few seconds to impress on the first date. So I would tell everyone to put their best foot forward. Now, that doesn't mean so you have to find the middle between looking great and being a fraud. So if you never wear false lashes, why are you going to wear them on the first date for only for that date? You don't want to do that. But if you underdress, the opposite is just as bad as overdressing. Women and men look at nails, look at the clothing, look at the choice of clothing, look at the shoes, and it's really important to choose something that's going to make you look good and that it shows respect. It shows that you came to show your best self, to look great, and to enjoy and to impress. And it's very important.
I'm loving this topic. We're going to have to talk a lot more about it. So coming up next on Soul in the City, how to stay calm, cool, and collected this summer is going to continue, along with some great dating advice and places to go and people to meet. You're listening to Soul in the City on CJAD 800. Welcome back to Solo in the City. We're talking tonight about summer lovin' and how to enjoy it and never let them see you sweat. I'm sitting here with Eramelinda Boquer, Frank Mondeose, Natacha Noël, and Marco Robidoux, and we're talking just about that. Things to do during the summer to keep us looking calm, cool, and collected. And as well, we're going to talk a little bit about fun dating ideas for the summer. So I just want to tell people out there, if you are listening and you want to weigh in on any of these topics and tell us a little bit about your things, you can call us tonight at 514-790-0800 and share some of your ideas about summer lovin' and where to find it and how to do it. And let's just kind of go with this right now. I want to ask each of you, what would be your favorite summer date? Frank.
Don't start with me. I want to know what
No. I'm looking right at you, Frank.
Did you see the way the show got off? You don't want one of those.
No, I want
stories.
a first date, Frank. Let's go first date. Where would you take somebody on a first date?
Well, it depends what angle we're meeting and whatnot. I would typically go to a nice restaurant and somewhere we could have a lot of good conversation. But now that the sun is out, I like going to parks and going for walks in parks, sitting, picnic, something very simple. I like things to be very real and nonchalant, so that we could both be comfortable and come from a more true space than a performance space. That's just me.
Okay, I like that. I love the picnic idea, and especially the walk in the parks, because I believe on a first date it should be 45 minutes, and then everybody say goodbye and go home and leave them wanting more. Yeah, you don't even have time to worry about summer sweating in a situation like that. What about you, Natasha?
I
First
agree
date.
with you, Cheryl, because a date should be short. And I love an evening date. I love to wear my heels. So personally, gentlemen, invite the girl out for drinks. And then what's great about a date is to go to a second place. So maybe you're having dessert somewhere else, and then you can start walking, and that's going to change the dynamic of the date, because sitting down in front of someone, for example, at the coffee, having a coffee, it's just low energy. So I kind of like the evening stuff. Now, if you're looking for a great idea, or maybe for a second date, if I may, Cheryl, there's this place called Maniacs, and it's axe throwing, and it's in St. Leonard, and I think it's just
great, actually.
fabulous. I love activities, and I'm competitive, so I don't know, I'm biased.
There are a lot of great activity-based amusement centers and things where you can go and actually do things together. And you can actually see a lot about a person from how they react
How
in different
coordinated they are.
well, okay, we don't want judgment here. We don't. And I do want to add on to what you were saying. One thing about going to a restaurant, if you are going to go to a restaurant or you are going to sit, let's say, somewhere and have a drink, try and find a table that's square and where you can sit shoulder to shoulder, or at a counter, because sitting across from a table, that table acts as your barrier.
Yeah, not cool.
It's something between you. So if you can get kitty corner, where you're sitting shoulder to shoulder, you're already creating an energy. There's a heat that flows from body to body, right, Frank? You know a lot about that, right? And then from there, it's so much easier to even then, if you're enjoying somebody, to give them a little body language by putting your hand just on their lower arm for just a couple seconds, not too long, to say, I'm interested, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah,
You
or
know,
the
so-
knee, knock knees a little.
Yeah, a little knock knee, but that
But then again, it's 45 minutes.
well, it
So
is
you better
45
act
minutes.
fast on that.
Well, there's a lot of people who talk about the fact that if you can have physical contact of some sort, whether it's a slight tap on the shoulder, within a very few seconds of meeting somebody, that right away brings you into a more intimate space with each other without being
calms each
over.
other.
It
Because
is.
when you
It's a
touch
calming.
someone, right away you feel more calm.
That's right. So
And if you're nervous, it kind of break down the nerves. Like, okay, it's going to be cool.
okay, so Marco,
it
now
is.
you're in the hot seat, the Summer 11 hot seat. What's the hot date for you on a first date for the summer?
A hot date. You know what? I haven't dated for such a long time. I'm getting married this summer.
I
in
know,
2
you're
weeks,
getting
so
married in
therefore-
2 weeks.
I guess I kind of agree with you guys. I love greens. I would say a park would be great. Some place where there's maybe, strange enough, in old Montreal, there's a lot of places by the river or something fun, and that could bring romantic space. Even though you don't want to be too romantic, but that could show that you care about a certain environment and that you like to enjoy stuff that are beautiful.
What about you, Eramelinda?
I like Montreal is such a festival city. Now, to be honest, something like the Jazz Fest or the Comedy Fest, a lot of noise, a little, there's a lot of competition for your attention, but there's a lot of wine and cheese festivals, tasting festivals, food festivals. It goes back to what you were saying and what you were all saying about, being able to sort of change the environment, move around a bit. And also, I think the onus is off. If you're going to a festival and you're trying different things, then you get to relax. It's not just that intense one-on-one. You get to see how each other reacts without the pressure of, having to keep up the conversation. Because for me, first dates are also seeing how people deal with silence.
Exactly.
You don't have to talk
All
all
the
the time. And I think with festivals where you're just trying stuff, looking at body language. I know you've talked about this. You learn a lot about someone by just watching the way they react and they act around people. So that's what I like. Food festivals. I know in Vermont has a great classic. It's a classic music in the field with a wine and cheese festival, and you can move around, listen to different things.
Well, you don't have to go to Vermont even. We have every Friday. This is a great date, by the way. I love this. You can go on Fridays, first Friday of the month, to the Biodome area, and that's where all the food trucks are. And that's also a great thing. You can try different things, and
That's
you
more
can.
like on a second date. right? In the first. Because the
Well,
first,
no, you could go on a first
It
date
could
because
be.
here's the
Really?
thing. Yeah.
but
And
then it might last longer than 45 minutes or an hour.
well, you can. The fact is, we can always break the rules,
Yes.
right? But you say, let's go for a short period, and then you can break off with break off from each other and go your separate ways, or you can decide to head over to the dessert truck, right?
But Cheryl, we didn't hear about any hot dates yet. I mean, hot date? Like a hot date.
On a first date?
Oh
No, the first date can't be that hot. But if let's say you're in New York City, for example, on your hot date, and then you can walk into a massage parlor and get a couple's massage, go into the spa. Montreal is so great for
We
the
have
spas.
Bota, by the way.
yeah.
Bota is a great date spot.
Yeah,
Maybe not for a
absolutely.
first date, but that is a great date spot. And, that's something when you're getting a little bit more intimate with each other. You're not getting naked with each other. You're in your bathing suits. You're enjoying hot tubs. You can have something down on the terrace because they have a great restaurant there.
And
then,
bar.
and but it's a great environment, and you're in a beautiful,
Or
beautiful
the sister
setting.
place, the Balnea.
The
where you drive
Balnea.
an hour and a half, get to Beaumont, spend the day, and you get back in early dinner.
And the other thing that I love, this is one of my favorite date nights, actually. And by the way, I actually think that even anybody out there listening who is married or in a long-term relationship, I hope you're dating each other forever. Because I
Amen.
really think that relationships are meant to date forever, and that's how we keep the passion going. So if you want a great date night, I happen to think that one of the things that I love doing right now is going to a yoga class together. If you can both get into it, it's very grounding. And even for somebody who, like myself, it took me a long time to get into it, I'm finding the benefit of it. And when you do it side by side, it's a great experience because there's a mental connection there and a physical. And when you walk out, you can go, you can have a nice light meal together, and then it's just like you're in this Zen space.
You need to try acro yoga as a first date. Acro yoga, because you actually have your hands on each other.
That's right. I actually have done that.
And it's like a lot of breathing together, so it's as close to making love on a first date as you can.
Frank.
Frank, we're going there again. That's on Dr. Laurie's show. You have to get there next week. But I do think that there are certain things that we can do that really spice it up. Going dancing, salsa dancing,
yes.
right? And there's different areas in town where you can go salsa dancing. 649, the club,
Yes.
649
Yep.
on de Maisonneuve. Monday nights, you can go. You can even be solo on that one, and you never know, you might meet a date there. And you have different partners and different levels, and everybody dances together.
I'm all about that.
I think it's a great way to really get out there and enjoy our city. And there's different areas where you can dance outside in the different parks as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Gamelin that there's
Yeah.
doing. They start with a lot of tech house music as well. There's different activities every week or something like that.
Yeah,
I look
and
forward to that.
there's actually even a new group in Montreal, and they meet every Sunday for Frisbee in different parks. And Sundays at the mountain, you have the drums.
Yeah,
Yes.
tam
Right.
tams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
nice.
one of my favorite. As a Montrealer, that's like the closest thing we'll get to Sunday by the beach, and it's a great place to get together. Really nonchalant. Yeah,
I like the comedy nest also as a first date. Just laughing. There's nothing better
great
than
way to break the
laughing.
ice.
Absolutely.
A very good way to break the ice. A lot of people around you, so it can be a little overwhelming. What about you, Marco? Do you have anything else you want to add as far as your
For first
favorites?
date, I feel so out of it. I'm listening to all of you guys. I haven't dated for such a long time, and I'm happy that with that being said. But
Are you going to date your future husband forever?
well, we do surprise each other quite often, and we do travel a lot together. And there's always like last time. Should I tell that story or not?
I think you should.
I don't know. Do we have time for a story? I
It's a
think
very-
we
okay, I'll
do.
make
Go
it-
ahead.
We went to New York 2 weeks ago because I had to find my suit for the wedding, right? And so I booked the flight. So we flew with JFK, with Delta, and came back with Air Canada. And as I booked the flight, I'm thinking, oh, we have to be back on the Monday at 6 in the morning. Why would we spend a night in New York, spending money at the hotel, to get up at 4 to get to the hotel? So I said, oh, here's the flight on Sunday night at 12:30. No, actually 10:50, coming to Montreal at 12:15. I thought that's perfect. So we spent all this Sunday, in Chelsea, Soho, Greenwich. I had a wonderful day. Went to a special restaurant that we like very much, a neighborhood restaurant called Clooney. So everything was really, really cool.
I love that
We
restaurant.
head back to the hotel. We get to the airport, and I get to the airport. The guy says, "Oh, you're not gonna make it. The plane leaves in 20 minutes." I said, "What do you mean it leaves in 20 minutes? My flight is 10:50." He said, "No, you're gonna miss it." I said, "Guy, look behind you, 10:50." He said, "That's 10:50 tomorrow morning." So then David looks at me and said, "You mean we have to go back to the city, take a hotel,
Oh,
and sleep there?" I
no.
said, "No, David, actually, our flight was this morning, 10:50.
Oh no.
So what do you do then?"
You
So
get
look-
another night in New York.
No, we actually rented a car and drove to Montreal.
Oh, wow.
Because David had a meeting the next day at 12 at his office.
No choice.
Oh my goodness.
You know, you could tell that he was the right guy for me because he didn't get upset with me. As he
Perfect.
said, we travel everywhere around the world. You never get mixed up. And then we go to New York for one weekend and you got confused. I said, "I'm so sorry. There was no worries." So look at all the possibilities. Train, what was it? A
Planes,
bus.
trains, and automobiles.
Because the flight was the next day tomorrow. It was like $700 a ticket. And then
Oy.
it was going to miss this meeting. So we said, "No, let's drive." So we drove.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've done
you
a
know what?
similar
You are
thing
lucky.
before.
You are
Yeah.
lucky that you are with David. Okay?
So it was
Anyway,
a date.
It was a date. It was a very long, nice drive date. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here today. It's a lot of fun to talk about different things that are going on in our lives and really understand how we don't always have to sweat that first date, even during the summer. So thank you very, very much, Marco, for joining
Pleasure.
us.
Thanks for
You
having
keep
me.
styling the people of Montreal
Yes.
and keeping us all looking.
For one more week. Then I'm off for the summer.
And then, well, you deserve it and you enjoy it. And I'm sure you're going to look just fabulous. And you're probably going to wear that extra T-shirt underneath so you don't sweat during the
No,
winter.
I don't sweat, so I'll be fine.
Beautiful.
Oh, you're lucky. And Natacha Noël of the Absolute Bachelor Club, thank you so much. And I'm sure you'll be giving a lot of great advice to your clients and anybody else who's out there who wants to be matched by my matchmaker. Why don't you give her a shot? She is fantastic. They
Thank
can
you.
reach you on your website, right?
Yes, www.absolutebachelorclub.com.
And coming up after this, Frank is going to stay with us. And Eramelinda, we're going to talk about where to go to see and be seen in Montreal, great first dates. And as well, we're going to introduce you to a new product line to help you stay fresh this summer. You're listening to Solo in the City on CJAD 800.
If I did, what's my